make disciples of and baptize people, and we hear that a lot. But Jesus says, and I want you to teach them to obey everything I've commanded you to do. It all centers on love. Learning to love one another. Staggering. You know, I never thought about that. I grew up thinking about the Great Commission and thought it meant that I had to evangelize and apologetize and win arguments and convince everyone that, you know, they needed to pray a prayer. And I thought that was the Great Commission. And I thought I was failing because I wasn't very good at that. Honestly. But you know what's been fun is, as an adult, as I've started to think about this, actually just trying this and watching what happens. Suddenly I don't have to win any arguments. People just want to come and follow Jesus with me. It's amazing. It's incredible. So one of the fun things that Ange and I have had a chance to do of late was to do this thing called a neighbour faith impact audit. Sounds very boring and technical, doesn't it? But it's actually really awesome. So this is the front cover. And we can get you electronic copies of this, by the way. I'll send it to James and make sure he's got the link. And if you want to have a good read, it's amazing. But this is our story of faith communities on the coast and all the ways that we are loving our neighbours. All the different ways that we're meeting needs in our community. And we actually audited it. So we did like a study of the whole city, of all our different churches and all our different faith organisations, and asked them, hey, you know what, we don't think many people know what you actually do. So can you tell us what you do, who you help, what needs you meet, you know, how often you do that, how many people are involved in doing that with your community or your team? And this is some of the results. So we had 124 survey responses, which was 52% of all faith-based organisations on the Gold Coast. That's actually really amazing. It's not easy sometimes to get everyone sort of participating, but 52%, that's more than half. And in survey terms, that is ridiculous. Like, your sample size at this point is really, really solid. Like, we've had friends at Griffith University, really nerdy people, that just do that. This is incredible data. We can't get data this good. So it was good. So some of the services, and I'll read some of these because it's hard to see. So we do a lot of food and material assistance. We meet emergency needs, people that are just really needing help. We do a lot of community connection, a lot of work with children and youth, a lot of chaplaincy work, counselling, family services, accommodation, disaster relief, visiting services, aged care services, financial services, disability support, health and wellbeing, education, enterprise migrant support, and unemployment support. So there's a bit of scope of just how broad some of these expressions of love are. If we go to the next one, these are some of the needs that those services meet. So social isolation and loneliness is huge, and probably, I'd hazard a guess, on the back of COVID, that has been a lot bigger in most of our communities. Mental health, financial and food. Sick and family, this was actually, I hate that it's there, but I love that it's there, because I hate that it's a problem, but I love that our churches are actually saying, no, this is an area now that we are quite engaged with. It's number 4 of the issues that we're addressing. Why do I love that? Because 3 or 4 years ago, we had a meeting with all of our church leaders together, and we recognised collectively that none of us, we all knew this was a big problem, but none of us were doing a lot. So over 4 years, we've been journeying together to start addressing this horrible issue of domestic and family violence and the impact it has in our community, and showing up. Our churches have made a difference and a change in this space, and I think that's going to continue to grow. So I'm a little bit stoked to see that there. We do with vulnerability due to young or old age. So, those are at the top and the bottom of the age scale. Homelessness and insecure housing, physical lack of skills and education and opportunity. We do a lot with addiction and substance abuse, unemployment and underemployment, discrimination and I got a kick out of it. But 355,000, like if that's more than half the city, a lot more. That's like 70% of the city in terms of the beneficiaries that the church collectively is helping to serve. 57, there we go, 57%. I was a little bit wrong with my percentages. If we go to the next slide. So this is just age groups. A lot of work being done with families, a lot with youth. Quite a bit with single parents. This is your single parent bar here. And really good to see. I love that we are, as a city, really working to support our elderly. I think that says a lot about who we are. Awesome. The next one. If you put a value on all this, $43 million of social impact value being contributed every year. So if you pulled the church and faith out of our city, you'd have a hole of $43 million every year. And this number isn't even close to the actual value. Remember I said that 52% of organisations respond? So we haven't counted the other 48% in that figure. And we've also based that figure assuming that everyone is only earning, that every hour of work that's been done is only valued at the minimum wage. Most of those spaces you can't do anything for the minimum wage. And you've got all sorts of leadership roles and all sorts of stuff going on within those. We've just leveled it all down to so the real figure is probably 4 or 5 times that. Huge, right? So this has been really cool. And the cool thing is that this story's never been told before. We've never had that number or these insights available. And what we've learned is that most people outside the church, most of our city leaders, journos, people that have seen this so far, had no idea. They think that the church is just whatever